What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Behind the Spacebar. This is the podcast where we help you become a world-class playback engineer by answering your questions. If you want to have your questions answered by me, Will, then you can head to Instagram, search for us from Studio Stage IG. You'll find us there. Just send us a direct message with your question. Today's a special episode, though. It's a solo episode. It's just me. Reese is not going to ask me questions. What I did is I actually reached out on Instagram and asked you guys, hey, do you have any questions you want to ask me that I can answer on the podcast? We're in the middle of a 3-show summer tour, and so this is the final show of the tour. And so what I thought I would do is while everyone's setting up, we're getting ready, I got a couple hours left to set my stuff up. I would try to kind of as rapid fire as I can, I'm not great at this, get through some questions, give you guys hopefully some quick answers. Again, this is a fantastic way to get your questions answered by someone who's been doing this since 2004, Ableton Live certified trainer since 2010, running from Studio Stage, which is the largest community, largest database of content to become a playback engineer in the world. And you can ask me questions and I'll answer them for you completely free. So let's dive in. Let's get started, if that sounds good to you guys. So first question up top is from Yam. Yam sent a photo which I somehow found, couldn't figure out how to make it bigger to see on my phone, but I pulled this up over on my iPad and I'll try reading through this. So one, thanks for your question, Yam. Yam said, hi, Will, I'd like to ask if it's possible to use a MacBook Pro to play backing tracks, okay? Use virtual instruments and sound libraries connected via MIDI controller to keyboard. So can we do playback and keys on the same computer and trigger rack patch changes via MIDI all on a single computer, okay? Is it possible to do? It's certainly possible. Is it wise to do? Not the wisest thing. And we'll talk about why in a second. But Yam does continue, and I think this is smart and this is wise. Is it possible to do it on a single computer and have another MacBook Pro that does the exact same thing, 2 total MacBook Pros, instead of separating those? And so instead of saying one, he's got 2 MacBook Pros to work with, instead of going one's just playback, one's keys, could we basically create a redundant setup where both computers are doing keys and tracks at the same time? Is that certainly possible? So yeah, one, is it possible? It is certainly possible. Is it the wisest thing? Maybe, maybe not. I do like the approach of, hey, if you've got to do it and you're constrained by budget, then at least it's redundant and you have a backup, right? I think that is wise. So let's dive into this really quickly. And again, I'm watching the clock here, so I'm going to keep this answer short. 2 key concepts we talk about all the time, particularly in system design, that's important to understand. One is division of labor. That's the idea of if Yam came to me and said, Will, design a system for me. I need to do playback. I need to control external patches. And I need to play a virtual soft sense, right? A virtual key setup. I would say, well, one, we have our playback computer. Great. 2, we have a computer that has virtual soft sense in it, maybe running MainStage, maybe another key software, maybe using Ableton to host our sounds. And then the third thing, changing external patches, that's going to come from our playback machine. That adds very, very minimal, if any, overhead. It's just MIDI notes sending out. So that's not a problem at all. So yeah, I've got no problem with playback and patch changes happening on the same machine. I do that quite often, perfectly fine, right? Now, the soft sense thing, the external keyboard thing, that's where it becomes a little tricky because that's a very CPU intensive task. Running tracks, your CPU is going to be pretty low doing that. It's not going to take a lot. So can you do it? Yes. Should you do it? I don't know. If it's a budget reason, if you gave me, all I can afford is 2 Macs, should I put everything on one and have redundant as opposed to one and have no redundancy for either? It's a catch-22. You're one way you're putting too much processing on one machine, the other way you're splitting it, but you don't have redundancy. It's a little tricky question to answer, but it is possible. Yeah, here's the biggest thing you need to consider though is one, can your computer manage all that? Before we even dream this up, we got to do testing. Can your computer manage it? 2, can your computer manage it? If you're watching on YouTube, you see me pointing in my head, meaning can you manage the brain power to do 2 things in one DAW? And often, sometimes they're fighting each other. Playback needs to stop, keys needs to keep going. I think sometimes having the separate thing and having division of labor, the best piece of that, the nicest piece of that is it's separate thinking. you're not cognitively, you don't have cognitive overload trying to manage everything on one small 13-inch MacBook screen, right? So that is maybe something. Here's what I would encourage you to do though, Yam. For playback, you don't need a very powerful machine. MacBook Airs, now the baseline, I think M4, the latest one as we talk, is 16 gigs, plenty of RAM. I'm recording on MacBook Air 8 gig, perfect for tracks as well too. You could buy used machines, refurb machines, do playback on that, and use your 2 MacBook Pros that you have for keys. That's what I would encourage you to do. Is it possible to do? It's certainly possible for sure. Great question though, Yam. All right, so it looks like, I think this is Patrick, asked, what's your process for gain staging, leveling stems to make sure they're loud but not clipping? So Patrick, a couple things I do. I'm actually gonna share my screen here just to show a couple things that I think are important when it comes to working with Ableton, when it comes with processing stems, that I see a lot of people make mistakes on. So one, I teach something called the 3-part framework for using tracks, and that's to create a template, format all your songs using that template, and then build a set using that template of your formatted songs. That allows you to work faster than anyone else, have a lot of flexibility and freedom. That's what I would suggest as kind of the starting point. A couple of unique things in the way that I do this that I think makes this really easy that I want to show you. So when it comes to managing stuff without clipping, it's not really that difficult. So first thing I do is I group all my stems in. This is going to save you time. It's way faster than separate tracks. And then I send all those individual tracks to return tracks. So you can see all my return tracks there. So I get separate outputs. I can change the outputs really quickly. One of the unique things and the reason why I use return tracks, the reason why I don't group my stems by parts, and certainly the reason why I don't add a lot of individual tracks and take time to drag individual clips is this. If I head over to session view, I get this volume fader here that controls the overall level of the song. So yes, I have the separation for those stems, but as I move that volume fader up and down, it's controlling the volume that goes out to each of those return tracks. So first thing I do, I just load all my songs in and I just pick some arbitrary number that I want my stems to hit. I, for many years, have just picked -4. Now, someone out there who frequents Reddit and probably has a lot of knowledge, but but doesn't have a lot of experience, will probably leave some dissertation explaining the exact scientific level that you should pick and that you should use. Here's the thing though, Patrick, it doesn't matter. Just pick some number, and your goal is to kind of just briefly go through your song and get as close to that as possible. So what I very literally do, and this is for the process I use, again, working with a 7-time Grammy Award-winning artist out on the road playing 10,000 plus venues, is I just pick an arbitrary number, -4 to start with, and I play through my song, okay? At 0, we're hitting about -4, so that looks fine. If I needed to bring this down a little more, I could bring this down, right? You can see we're hitting -16, probably went too far there, could bring it back up. I would jump through my song, find the loudest parts, find the quietest parts, and just get really close to it, right? And get as close to that as I can. Now, are there tools that allow you to do this more scientifically? Yes, Waves loudness meter. There's a great, I can never remember this off the top of my head, but a great little metering tool that's really popular. I've seen a lot of people use that's modular. You kind of build this and track it. I know people that process all their stems and they put limiters and they use compressors and they do everything they can to maximize volume and they do all this processing. Here's what I have found, Patrick. No matter the amount of effort and time you put into beforehand, as soon as you get this in a live scenario, as soon as you run through your first sound check, your first rehearsal with the band, you will be making changes to your songs. You'll be making changes to your levels. So I think it's important to start to kind of rough it in, but have a system that allows for quick changes and ultimate flexibility. And this is why I don't make lots of individual tracks. This is why I don't group all my parts by parts, which most of us, are not most of us, but the people that I see do that, they don't really know why they do that. That's just what they do. But the reason I do the process I do, which is I throw everything in and I send it to return tracks. One of the big reasons is so that I have this fader. So I can really quickly adjust song levels in a rehearsal and I don't have to go select a lot of clips and mess with clip gain. I just pull that down, right? Now, obviously, when you first press play, if something's just clipping an individual track or clip is, I'm gonna go turn that down. You turn it down the clip, turn it down the track, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna turn that individual one down. I'm gonna listen through, does anything sound a little off? But what I can tell you, no matter how much time, no matter how much effort you put into this, it will change. So you need a system that allows you to change really quickly. That's why I format and build stems in songs the way I do. Great question though, Patrick. Mickey says, hi, how do you make a MIDI program change on a clip in session view? Mickey, great question. I'm in Ableton Live 12 here. If you're not watching on YouTube, jump over to YouTube so you can see this. I got a MIDI track added in here, double click to create a clip. Live 12 is a little different because there's a lot of these different views over here in clip view. So what you want to do is go to what's called the launch box. And depending on how you have this size, this may look a little different. You may actually see launch like you see right now, or you may just see this little symbol. So you click there, go down in your launch box. You have three options here. You see bank, sub, program. This is most significant byte, MSB. This is LSB. This is program. Best way to start typically is just go into your program box here and just type 2, right? And that's going to send program change 2. Depending on your gear, you're going to have to experiment with this. You have to tweak with this a little bit. And you'll have to offset your numbers if your manual starts with program change 0 to 3. And Ableton, that's going to be program change 1 to 4, right? But you just load that in, and then what I do is I save this clip in a template, and then I drag from my browser into arrangement view. Which is the best way to run tracks, the most flexible way to run tracks, keeps your rehearsal running, allows you to eventually get into time code and things like that. Okay, final question, I think, for this episode, which is great question so far, guys, for this one. But Caleb asked, and this is kind of similar to Yam's question here, is it safe to run a MIDI board and tracks at the same time? Is it safe? Well, Caleb, it all depends if your computer can do it. If your computer can handle it, sure, go for it. Is it wise? No, not necessarily, because if your computer goes down, you lose all your keys, you lose all your tracks. Now, there's this comment, I don't know the person's name, but this guy that commented on YouTube one time when I was kind of teaching this concept of division of labor, and shared that he, you know, I've had the screenshot and I like marked his name out, but it's a legitimate comment, which is amazing. He said he runs tracks, he runs keys, he does his live stream mix and does in-ears for his band all on one MacBook Pro. And the mistake he made is he bought a MacBook Pro super maxed out, and it's a really stupid decision. He's not stupid, just a stupid decision. I make lots of stupid decisions. But this stupid decision that he made is that if that one computer goes down, he loses everything, right? Which is not great. It's not wise. So Caleb, is it safe to do keys and tracks at the same time? If your computer can handle it, you don't have any issues, and you personally are comfortable with that, great. A lot of times people ask this question because of budget reasons, and they think, well, I can't afford this, buying 2 computers. I can't afford to, oh, you said redundancy, buying 4 computers to do this. Well, again, to run tracks, you don't need that powerful of a computer. 8 gig MacBook Air is going to be perfectly fine. For keys, I would do 16 gigs, 32 gigs if you could. You need a little more powerful computer for keys. I would certainly suggest you separate those, but if because of budget reasons you have one computer and that's all you got, as long as you can do it and you don't have issues, as long as cognitively you can manage it, like I was telling Yam, and as long as you're okay, you can step on stage and trust it, that's perfectly fine. What you can't do, and Caleb, I'm not saying you're doing this, but what you can't do is do all that on one machine, then it crashes, and then, you know, become a person that goes around saying you can't trust Ableton because it crashes all the time, right? And I've seen people do that. Well, what do you mean Ableton's not stable? Then you hear what they're doing and you're like, well, nothing's that stable. That's a stupid decision, right? So Caleb, is it safe to do it? You can only answer that by loading the sounds up on your computer, trying it at the same time and seeing. And if you have no issues and you're comfortable with that, it doesn't freak you out, by all means, try it, do it, have fun with it. That's how I got started. But I also have stood in front of 1,000 people. I've told the story before, 1,000 people in a theater, and my computer crashed because I was doing everything on one and completely ruined this very special moment. So a lot of times when I answer these questions, it's not because I'm some guy that just discovered Playback a year ago. It's because I'm a guy that's been doing this since 2004 and has made a lot of stupid mistakes in front of lots of different large groups of people. And I've learned division of labor and redundancy matters, because you don't want to be the guy who ruins everything for 1,000 people, right? Not that you'll do that, Caleb, but start it, try it, see what happens. Caleb did also then ask, if so, arrangement or session view. 100% arrangement. If playback is your primary, arrangement view is the best way to do it. It's funny, the arrangement session view argument was really, really big years ago. I was just talking to someone about this, but I think most of us have kind of softened up and come around. I was a huge session view advocate. I was the loudest voice of using session view on the internet back when I got started in 2004. And then I tried arrangement view and I went, I'm never going back. And most of the people I know that argue against arrangement view have never actually tried it. So don't trust someone's opinion unless they've tried both. But Caleb, I would say arrangement view. You could program all your changes using MIDI clips, run them alongside an arrangement view, you'd be fine. Final thing, you're going to run into some of what EM experienced, which is, can you manage both at the same time and keep track of them? That's going to be the big thing. All right, that's all I've got for you today. Got a couple other questions, so we'll certainly do a part 2 of this. If you have a question you want to get answered, head to From Studio to Stage IG. Find us on Instagram, From Studio to Stage IG. If you want to take the very first step to becoming a world-class playback engineer, head to FromStudioToStage.com/template. Download our completely free tracks template. The formatting that you saw for that track earlier, you're going to get that for free. Foundations Lite for free. My AI Cues player for free. Plus, you're going to get 2 courses that walk you completely through the entire process. Not just going to show you how to use a template. I'm going to teach you why you should use tracks, how to convince your band, what gear you need. Then I'm going to teach you how to use this template to format your songs, and then take those formatted songs, bring them together to build a formatted set. If you want to get that, head to FromStudioToStage.com/template. Thanks so much for watching and listening, you guys. We'll see you on, I guess we'll have to do a part 2 of this, because I still got a couple other pages of questions to answer. Hopefully not a part 3. Maybe we'll get there. But thank you all for listening. If you enjoy it, share this with someone, leave a comment below, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.